engaged. Can I start with this as long as it's right there and get your eval sheet?
Unless.
I mean, it's not official.
Yeah.
It's not official business, but I just wanted to make them aware, but we're not going any further than that. Fill it out.
Oh, yep, but you need to vote on it.
Yeah, I'm supervising games.
Oh,
so.
okay.
Put her first, and then we can do that either, so she can be.
All right, well, then let's go straight to the citizens forum. I hear none, so I'm going to move right on to, let's go to activities director on E, report.
Yeah, thank you for accommodating. We have a basketball game going on, which is a reschedule from last week, so I'm supervising that. So we'll start with community ed. We currently have elementary basketball running and archery running. Elementary basketball continues to have good numbers out at kindergarten, first grade. This is our breakdown of ages. Kindergarten, first grade group, second and third grade group, and then a fourth, fifth for boys and girls we have split out. The fourth, fifth are traveling quite a bit. We had our girls at a new Fulton tournament last weekend. They won one game and lost two, and then our boys go to Carlstead this weekend. That schedule just went out with the boys, by the way. Yeah, it continues to be a good season. Excited about the kind of enthusiasm that's there. Upcoming, we have driver's ed is starting February 28th. We have rod building starting March 3rd, and snowmobile safety put on by Joyce Beckel is on February 2nd. And that's the snowmobile safety is just that's the field day. Students will take an online course prior to that, and then they show up and do the safety on the 2nd. There's lots of what's exciting and lots of different opportunities in terms of community ed, which is exciting. Janelle Lowe's and Lisa Beckstrand are working on paddle boarding right now, as in they're trying it out first and then gonna see if one can do it, but two, if there's interest in potentially taking lessons. So paddle boarding, ski club, which has got some interest, pickleball, challenge becomes volunteerism. All of those are great ideas that I think could have interest within the community, but trying to make sure that we've got enough resources in terms of supporting them with instructors and things like that. Any questions on community ed? Okay.
I do. Who's putting on the driver's training? Like an online thing, or?
Nope. His name's Brian Denault. He's out of Warroad.
He's still. I was going to ask you. He has the keys for our one Impala, and then he has the only set. And
oh, okay.
It's stuck where it's at. It's been there. We can't move it, and I don't have a number for the guy. So
I have his number.
Yeah, I do too. I'll text it to you.
If you are talking to him, tell him that all vehicles that are parked in the bus garage, the keys are left in them. So
okay, we'll try and get that back.
So, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, activities director. We are hosting One Act Play subsections this Saturday. It is open to the public and free of charge. So please come on out and support our drama club, One Act Play Club. They are putting on a play called Overtones, which they're quite excited about. And we are hosting, so it's our own play, and then Marshall County Central, Rosa, Warroad, and Greenbush, Middle River. So we'll host 5 plays. They'll start at noon. There's various order. I think we are actually the last play of the day. Lots of games happening. A lot in the next 10 days. Basketball, boys and girls basketball, hockey, all sorts of stuff going on. All of which can be seen online. That's a much quicker way to say that. So we did have a high school hockey coaching change, which you'll see in the board meeting itself. Bruce Sindelier stepped down mid-December, and Dean Krause stepped up. I know that there's been a little history with that change in the past, and we worked out a solution where Bruce got paid, we prorated it, the whole salary for that position. So Bruce got paid what he worked for about a month, and then the rest will be paid out to Dean throughout the course of the season. So was worked out for everybody. Everyone is in agreement. I think it's very clear for everyone, and contracts have been signed in that regard. So Corinne had emailed me with a little bit of concern to make sure that it was just very clear as to what had transpired in terms of that change. So I feel confident and comfortable that that's the case. We did hire a varsity baseball coach, Nick Anderson, who has been the junior high / assistant coach for the past 4 years, has applied and we've hired. I'm excited in his baseball knowledge. I think he's young and committed in terms of time, and he works at Marvin's over in Warroad, and Marvin's is quite flexible in terms of being willing to let him take time to come over and coach. So excited about that hire. Still in the process of looking for an assistant and junior high baseball coach, as well as a junior high track coach and junior high softball or JV softball coach. Okay. In terms of opportunities and challenges, like I said last time, committed coaching staff. In terms of COVID has been a major, major challenge in terms, not just for us. I know you'll hear more about that, but other schools. We had a Moose Lake game, high school hockey game moved. We've had other games moved because teams just don't either have too many kids out for COVID or have too many illnesses in general. So a lot of what you're seeing in the busyness of this week is rescheduled games and just trying to pack things in so that we get people playing. Haven't lost a ton of games yet because we have had to reschedule. Girls basketball is one where we are not going back to Walker just because it's too far and, just too much of a trek. We did have a boys basketball not doubleheader, but Friday, Saturday combo in the cities, which I was quite excited about. They're going to go play Ogilvy which is like south of Brainerd. Ogilvy on Friday, and then Yuba Medical Academy in Minneapolis on Saturday, but unfortunately Yuba shut down because of COVID, and we couldn't find a second game, and thus it's not really effective to just go 4 hours for one game on a Friday night. So the flip side of that is I think there's some opportunity to pick up games. Lots of schools are kind of shuffling in a way that we did pick up a game with Silver Bay for the boys basketball, so hoping to get them a full schedule, but just do what we can until the end. Any questions on the activity director stuff?
Driver's ed, did they change the date? Okay, so we had to shift it because they didn't
Yep.
have enough kids. What's the birth date, or do you happen to know that?
Oh, it's a similar birth date. Yep, and he's a little bit flexible on this. The date we've advertised is 15 by April 1st.
Okay.
We have enough space where that if there's a kid who's 15 by mid-May, we likely would let them join. So if you've got a specific kid in mind, let me know. And that's got to be confirmed through Brian. I have to, if there is somebody outside those parameters, but he's been flexible. It's mostly so that they could take the test and then get the behind the wheel done this summer. So.
Okay.
And is it it's in
person here?
Not
Yep.
the Zoom.
Yeah, he comes over from Warroad every day for those 3 weeks to make it happen. So appreciate that. And it was moved just because it was conflicting too much with fall sports. We had a lot of people want to do it, but just became a challenge in terms of that schedule. And so he was willing to do it. And this is kind of between the seasons. So
Yeah, you'd really have to nail it,
Yeah.
between
yeah,
the
and we
fall.
were doing it first 3 weeks of September or something like that. It just wasn't a great date. So I appreciate his flexibility on that.
Did we ever get the batting cage thing?
No, and I just wasn't able to make it happen. I mean, I would like to, and I think
Still, yeah,
it's viable. Yes, it's a priority thing that has moved down my list just based on availability of my
did we ever
time.
get the post from North Star?
They said that they had them, but again, I just couldn't make it,
Right.
couldn't convert, so to speak.
They have polls all the time.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that, I don't foresee it happening this year, but I'm hoping by next year we'd make it happen. So, appreciate you following up on that though. Okay, activity bus. Brad, feel free to jump in on this. But due to low/non-existent numbers, I mean, many nights where we didn't have any riders, we have decided to suspend for the remainder of the winter season. We would like to try again in the spring. I think the thought being that we could advertise alongside the spring sports schedule and say, when we have the spring sports meeting, two parents, when they're in the room, say, this is an offering. It also, I think, will be a little bit less financial commitment because we'd only do one ride a day. You're not trying to accommodate the two early and late practice schedule for basketball. So, same question as the last time I had on here, how much do you cater to individual schedules? I've gotten some feedback from people to say, well, if it was only, or if only you stopped here, which is fair, but at some point, we're not doing another bus route, right? That's not the point. So I'd like to think there's an opportunity for it, and like I said, we'll see what the spring brings. I think hopefully we get some more information. I think that's the thing I've struggled with, is that we just don't have a ton of information about why.
I think what
Yeah.
part of the issue is that we kind of sprung it on right when winter sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I think our main goal is hey, if there's a kid that's on the principal playing, and he basically, because of can't get a ride or that sort of thing. So I'm thinking maybe if we do kind of advertise it before spring sports start, that it might work, and then kind of know after that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I look at it. We didn't have a lot of money pumped into gas, kind of thing, that's for sure.
Well, and that's the thing, is it's we didn't have many kids, so it's not like we ran the bus,
But I talked to a few parents, and I was like, well, it was just if he was at this time, or my kids got practice at that time, and it's you're not gonna have 10 buses running around, so just, I think if people can, we get a couple, 3-4 kids that are gonna join spring sports because of the bus, then,
Yeah, agree.
that would be awesome, but I think we'll kind of know if it's worth it at all after the spring, get the spring going, and we probably won't let it go as long as we did maybe for the winter.
Yeah.
And we'll just
Well, and
do-
like you said, we could get signups at that spring sports meeting. I mean, those are well attended, and actually get people's names on a list. These are the details. Hold your feet to the fire in some way. So, okay. Any questions about any of that? Great. Okay, I'm headed to the basketball. What sport am I in? Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you, Sam. I guess we'll go back to the top of the agenda, and Superintendent Jeff Nelson report.
Any board committee reports?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that, the citizens forum. Yeah, board committee, I know you had a finance meeting just now, right?
Crystal covers that when she does the.
Okay.
Okay.
And we had the school forest meeting.
Did you?
We just planned, we picked a day for the candlelight ski.
Which is, I think I saw something, but when is it?
It's like the 16th.
Okay. Of March.
Yeah, didn't we? We went to March.
We did, because the moon.
Yes. I would have to look at my notes at home. But yeah.
It was the first week in March.
What
Was
day
it?
of the week did you pick?
It was like a Wednesday, wasn't it?
Wednesday, I think.
Because it
16th is
didn't
Wednesday.
coincide with any other school events, did it?
Should be
Or was
Friday.
that the day that there was the Thief River Knowledge?
Well, and
Probably
it's a
Knowledge
Wednesday,
Bowl.
there shouldn't really be anything, right?
Well, we have Knowledge Bowl this Wednesday.
Oh?
There
But
was
usually
Knowledge
there's
Bowl
no
in Thief
sports.
River.
That's correct.
Well, it's kind of
During
a
the
weird
day.
time of the year
It
anyways.
is, yeah.
There probably wouldn't be any sports anyways.
I don't think so.
So, and then we just divvied out who was going to do what for that, I think. It was a quick meeting.
So what time is it at?
February 16th, wasn't it?
I thought so. Oh, it's February
like-
16th?
Or, I'm sorry.
March 16th, but what time?
Starts at 7.
I suppose.
Is that when it starts?
That's what time it gets dark in March. Isn't that exciting?
But the moon comes out like at 5 or something, wasn't it?
I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
Bobby was online looking it up. But that's all we talked about, I believe.
committees?
I forgot the policy one, if we had one. You guys have one?
Did we have one?
I have no idea.
I think you guys did.
What day would that have been on? Would have been the 4th?
I don't remember. Wasn't
My
there a
calendar,
crisis
I always
committee
have
too?
2 days pop up. I know we don't have them twice.
Yeah, we had it on January 4th. I can't remember. There was like 3 that we put on hold, and the other ones are up for approval. That's in the board packet. Nothing outlandish. Most of them are just
Yeah, whatever's
simple.
in the board packet is basically it.
Yeah. And the ones on hold are a little more in-depth with changes and need a little more work, so.
I do like the school weapons one. It makes it sound like, okay, these are the weapons that the school will maintain.
Okay, any other board committees that want to chime in? Okay, hearing none, let's move on then to Superintendent Jeff Nelson.
Okay, I have the enrollment report. Preschool is at 41 students, and that's down 2 from September. K6 is at 224, that's even to what we started out in September. High school is at 215, that's down 2 from September. Total K12 is 436, and we're down 2 students from September. COVID data report, I have today's updated one in the pile on the table here, and that's the one I will focus on. So, if you start at the top and work your way down, I'll go right down to the weekly case counts for the county, and we can go back to January 2nd through the 8th. The count for the county was at 35. January 9th to the 15th, it spiked to 50, and that kind of coincides to our spike, where we had 25 cases among students and staff. The 16th through the 22nd, it's down to 24, and our numbers for last week were down to 12. So we went from 25 2 weeks ago, we're down to 12. Hopefully we're continuing that trend. We didn't have school today, so tomorrow we'll see how testing starts out. Any questions on any of that?
Do you ever get a chance to tally up how many kids in the school have had COVID?
No.
That's something Mary Jo could do.
Yeah, I'm thinking the way you are, we got to be getting close to a critical number there.
I would think so.
I mean,
Well,
look at our
yeah.
total
Just go back
population.
through the reports and count how many up.
Well, I could give you totals.
Or you could use the spreadsheet and
Right?
do it. That's better than me going back trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
There should be a formula for that.
I could give you just totals. There's some kids that have had it twice, and some staff that.
Well, that's why, I mean,
Yeah.
it should be close. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you counted people double, it's gonna be within 5 or 6 then.
Right, then you
Yep.
had vaccinated numbers, and I know some who have been vaccinated have also gotten it, but still, I'd like to
So-
believe we're hitting some.
I can give you a total. I can give you a total from these reports of ones we've tested and how many have tested positive. But I don't think it's as high as we think it is, because our last week was our biggest spike, and that was 25 that we had documented. Prior to that, we were kind of in that 6 to 7 range at the school, if I remember right.
My guess would be.
In the first 2 weeks, we were at 19, so we started off at kind of a high note, and we just hit another one. But I will, that's an easy number I can send out.
So all this, most of the fall, you think we were at 6 or 7 a week?
Yeah, it wasn't huge numbers.
We
Our
didn't hit
numbers,
double digits.
no,
And like even all of last year, we
No.
really didn't
No.
have huge numbers,
no.
so.
But we do a lot of testing. I think we did 120 tests 2 weeks ago. Last week we're at like 99. So that accounts for some of it too. But right now the trend hopefully last week's trend will continue, and this week we'll have half the number we had last week. That's my hope. I would like to say, before I forget, there have been, especially last 2 weeks ago when we had 25 positives, we had a number of staff out, and I can't say enough about the staff at Lake of the Woods who are so willing to step in and do something totally not on their job description just to keep the building open. And Mary didn't see her office for a week because she was in the lunchroom serving up mashed potatoes. So
The kids noticed too.
yeah.
Because I know my kids came back and said, yeah, Miss Merkin was in the lunchroom serving lunch.
So, and that really,
Make it a regular thing, so they get to see you. Once a week or something,
Well,
no,
if you want to
every
pay
other
me
week.
my principal's salary to do that every day.
Most of them see her plenty anyway.
Yeah, the difference was I was behind the counter, not roaming around talking to the kids.
Or not disciplining them,
That too.
feeding them instead.
so I'm very fortunate to have staff like Mary and many others that just, you ask and they just jump forward and help out where they need to, and so that helps a lot, and it's greatly appreciated. In-person plan, I have an updated January 24th one. Pretty much everything's the same. A few updates. The biggest ones I would say would be on page, starting on page 5. The biggest change is our transitioning to the CDC recommended for the shortened 5-day with masking for isolation and quarantine. And it's pretty much spelled out. And you'll notice, irregardless of what status we're in, whether it's low, moderate, or high, we're operating with the same format for quarantine staff and students. Otherwise, everything else is fairly similar. I made a few adjustments with the athletics because we discussed that last meeting. Basically, all students, coaches, and fans will follow State High School League guidance. For practice and contest, more restrictive measures may be imposed by the district while under the high transmission level is the major change. And right now, we're in the high transmission level, but we're just following high school league guidance and practices. So this will be up for approval, and then it will be posted on the website. One thing that I'm looking at, because I get pros and cons from the public as far as the instant alerts that go out when there's classroom positives. It used to be I would send anytime there was a positive and there was a potential for the student to be in the classroom, I would send that notice out. I'm considering, I want some feedback from the board, not doing that, because we send out every week by Friday, we're posting basically the report that you have here, and it has a rundown by day when there's positives in each and at what grade level and location. Unless there are 2 or 3 and we think there's a spike in a specific classroom or grade level, what is your feedback?
I think you should quit doing them.
Okay.
Just from a parental perspective, I answer it, oh, okay, hang on. It's,
Yep.
Well, I feel like it's everywhere, actually. I mean, like, I think it's different than it was months and months ago. You know, I mean,
a lot of people are tired of just hearing about it, I guess.
Well,
I don't,
like-
you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I
it's
mean,
not
like-
that they don't wanna know, but if they're already getting the information,
No, it's available.
yes.
They have to go to the website and get it.
yeah.
You know, unless there was another spike of 25, I might do a all call to everyone.
Right.
So,
I'd say, yeah, unless there's a, so what do you think of this, if there's either a big spike overall for multiple kids out of a class,
okay.
and then do it Because usually it's onesies, one here, one there, but I mean, you get 2 or 3.
Well, and
Might
some
be
people, I think, some people who don't follow it at all, like they don't, I mean, unless they get a call, they have no idea, because I've had a couple of people say, oh, to me, like, oh, there must be some more cases at the school, because I got a phone call, and I'm like, there's always been cases at the school. So, yeah.
So
So,
the intent was the information to be used by parents, you know.
To make decisions.
Make a decision,
Yep.
and if that's not being acted on, I guess it is, there's a redundancy or a not need for it if it's available for those who want to act on somewhere else.
The other question, I guess, is, at least for your part, how much time does it take? I mean, is it like 15-minute type thing to
depends on how many I have to do.
put it in?
2 weeks ago, it took a lot of time.
Okay, and that may be something to think about.
Well, I
too.
mean, or if there's a peak, could you, like, if we had another week where there was
The high,
20-some in the school, like to say, you know, we're experiencing high numbers, you know, this information is available
That way it doesn't,
for your reference at any time on the website or whatever, and then they've been told.
is everyone okay with that? Yep, and then that's how I will move forward with it. What else do I have? Did you want to do my,
Yeah, I mean,
Evaluation
it
now?
could be
'Cause
part of it.
I'm
There's
done.
really not a lot to say there, it's just you all have the evaluation, you've seen them before. Board member Robita, were you around when we did this last time? I don't think you were.
I don't recall this.
It's fairly self-explanatory. This gets a little more confusing, the setting of goals, and I can either have a conversation with you or show you what we ended up with last time, you know, how we arrived at it. But effectively, this is what I'd like you guys to get done and back to the district office by the end of the week, if that's realistic. I mean, I'd like to move forward with it. We did it last year at this juncture about a month ago in December, and so we're already quite behind. We're supposed to be doing this on a 6-month basis, so I'd like to get that back to the district office for sure, and thoughts on that again, you know, our goal establishment, what our expectations are, so that, I think it's Robin and, is it just you and I? Just the two of us?
And Carla.
So okay, so you would be on that, and then we could meet with Jeff and get that squared away and moving forward.
Okay.
I forget all my committees.
Well,
I know there's
it's
like
the
6
same
of
as,
them,
there's the same as negotiations.
Oh, okay.
It matches negotiations, right?
Yeah, I'm just, the reason I'm hesitating, and I should be prepared on that, but at one point I thought it was just Jeff Burcham and I at one point. And
Oh, was it? Okay.
yeah, we
just
didn't
do
have
a
all
little-
three.
Oh, I thought it was the whole
wasn't
committee.
coincidental. I'm more than happy to have all three, that's fine, it makes
Yeah.
it more of a, just a question of getting everybody together at the
Yeah.
same time. But
Yeah.
anyway, point is, the paperwork I'd like to get done by the end of the week. If anybody has a problem with that, let me know, but
And where would you like them to submit that?
I'd say the district office.
Okay, give it to
At one
Harvey.
point, we tried to do it electronically, and it just got confusing, so let's just put it in an envelope and put it in the office, and I'll pick them all up on Friday.
Yep.
And then collate the numbers, and we can have a discussion as a group after that, and then hopefully we're done with this, or at least have it ready for the next board meeting.
Yep. Is there any information anyone needs from me to be able to fill that out? Okay,
Okay,
I can ask you, I guess. You do?
okay.
all right, so Jeff, you're done. High school principal Mary Merchant.
Good evening. Semester 1 ended on Friday, and grades will be due at the end of the day tomorrow, and then at the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, they'll get submitted out to parents, and students and parents can access them on Student View and Parent View. And then academic eligibility begins on Monday, January 31st. Our students last year had an opportunity to take a plumbing class through Northwest Tech, and Jeff Brower, the instructor, contacted me prior to Christmas break to offer it again to kids. I wish we would have had a little more notice, but we do have 3 students signed up, and then a 4th one who asked if he could take it a second time. And Jeff said yes, and when he met with the kids, he came in person to meet with the kids last week to make sure they knew how to get into their college email and the D2L where assignments are. And the student who wanted to repeat it, Jeff's gonna put him in the next level class. So, that's a wonderful opportunity for our kids. And great relationship to establish, to give them that opportunity. Our senior high knowledge bowl is doing fantastic this year. Their, first competition, they got 3rd place, and when I did my board report on January 5th, they had a 1st place finish. Last week we had to, I don't want to use the word cancel, I think it'll be rescheduled, but the competition, and that was going to be at the Printer Falls, needed to be canceled or postponed. And then Mrs. Castle is working with the junior high kids, and for Knowledge Bowl, junior high is 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and then senior high 10 through 12, so excited to see that for our kids. And regarding the candlelight ski, Knowledge Bowl is always during the day, so those kids should be home if they want to take part in that way before it be time for that to start. Extremely excited that Amy Hendrickson started today as our high school math teacher. I should say pending recommendation that the board approves that tonight. She comes to us from Chisholm. She was working this past semester doing online, so when that ended, it made it a easy transition for her to be able to come into the classroom. She has 25 years experience coming from Chisholm, has worked a lot with, honestly, students anywhere from 7th through 12th grade, and a lot with, I'm going to use the word at-risk kids. So I'm going to say kids who math may not be their thing that they really love. So I think she is going to be a great fit with our staff. Her and her husband are very familiar with the community. He comes here a lot to go fishing. So
They found a place.
excited that she was able to find an apartment.
Oh, so she did.
Yeah,
Good.
she
That
did
was my
find an
question.
apartment and moved in this past weekend.
So I'd hate to lose that opportunity because I couldn't find a place to
Oh, I
live.
know.
Oh, no, we had a place for her. Don't worry.
Yeah, with that said, I'm excited. I get to attend the high school principals conference, so I'll be taking off for the cities tomorrow and gonna attend the school workshop also Wednesday morning prior to the start of the conference. I'm able to get all that in one trip. Our welding students have had the opportunity to work with Seth. Our welding class, unbeknownst to me and Diane and Nathan till school started, how many kids he accepted in there, and he's like, well, we'll just make it work. Well, I didn't like how many kids that were in there every day. I just felt there were too many that couldn't get that hands-on. So we split it because we were pretty even with numbers, juniors, seniors. So they're in the welding shop every other day, and on those opposite days, the kids who wanted to engage and do rod building, Seth is working with them, so it's a fantastic experience. They've already sold a couple of those, and they are so professionally done, so that's very exciting to add that opportunity to our kids with that class. And our one-act play, as we were told about already, and then today, the high school teachers were able to participate in a synergy training. Katie, Mrs. Hasbargen, and Bob, Mr. Lane, led that about a month or so ago. They took a half day to work with Synergy on updates. There is so much that we can do on there that we did not know about. So I do foresee us, we purchased Schoology for this year, which is a place to put assignments and just another platform. Well, with what we are finding out that we can do with Synergy, which is how parents access and students, rather than having two different places, I foresee us just going to using Synergy because parents can see everything on there. So teachers worked on that today, and I just foresee that's the way we go. I can't justify when teachers ask me today, and it's like, I don't want them to think that this was not a good use of their time on Schoology this year. Had we known what we know now, I don't think we would have gone that route, but to make it easier for parents so that they can see what the assignments are, if there's videos, they can see everything that the kids should be doing. So I think it's just going to be a better way for us to communicate with our parents. handouts to our kids in between all our shortages with the lunchroom. I just kind of went down the hall each day and we had kids washing tables after breakfast and after lunch, so it helped out immensely. I cannot speak higher of our students, how willing they are to help out when you need help. And that's it. Do you have any questions for me?
What, it was Amy, right? What's Amy which math is she gonna be teaching?
She'll have 7th and 8th grade and geometry.
And what kind of numbers do you get on Knowledge Bowl for kids showing up? I mean, what's the high school?
Well, high school hasn't, high school has enough for 2 teams. I think the last time, like the first time they went, I think they took 10. Honestly, vehicles makes a difference too on how many we take. I think the last time they went, though, they took 5 kids. So typically it'd be a team of 5. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Business office, Crystal Landine.
So we just went over the budget report for December 31st. There isn't anything too, I guess, out there. We're pretty much in line with our budget as of right now. The only thing is again, the community service. It's showing right now that we are above expenditures by 138%, and that is because 353,000 of that is from the pool. So when we do the revised budget, I'll include those dollar amounts in there. And then we went over some audit questions that the board had as far as year-end journal entries and discussed how basically those are the journal entries that we have every year. As far as, because the levy all streams through, for example, the levy all streams through one account, and at year end is when you spread it out. Same with state aid, that all streams through one account throughout the year, and then at year end you spread that out as well. We are going to touch base though with our auditor Holly as far as some things that she brought up to, was that all the things we did, which is Jeff and last year? Okay, with Jeff as far as accruals and that kind of thing. We also discussed a way to hopefully get rid of some of those findings for student activity accounts as far as having new forms to fill out, to keep track, making sure there's signatures, and then we are gonna actually pull all the student activity essentially from the general fund, even though it's part of it, but then we're gonna have files for each individual student activity account, and that way I feel like it'll be easier for accounting purposes at audit time to just, okay, they want something from class of 2025, we can just pull that class of 2025 file and have all this stuff included in there. Otherwise, I think that's about it, unless you guys have anything to add.
Pretty much it, as far as I remember.
In terms of the audit, I don't know how that falls down in terms of the hierarchy, who's totally responsible for it, but I got the sense that they were well pleased with the way this building runs, correct? I mean, other than when you start talking about student activity funds and stuff, that's quite a bit of minutia they're looking at, and nothing, I mean, that was a good audit, I guess. I mean, I feel good about
I
that.
felt personally very good about the audit as well,
Absolutely.
yes. Because like I told them too, I basically feel like that's kind of like my review of my job.
Yeah,
So I felt good about it.
all right, well, thanks for that, too. Okay, we already did the activities director. Let's move on to Seth Putz, building and grounds.
I don't have much listed, I don't have anything listed, but this week I'm gonna start on benchmarking from energy usage last year, compare it, and take a look and see where we can make improvements on it. We're gonna be looking for another employee after tonight, once it goes through the board. So we're gonna be looking for another full-time employee, and we still have not found anybody for the plow truck. It's about as much as I got.
Winter's over, isn't that good?
Only got 5 more months.
That guarantees a blizzard.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, my phone hasn't gone off this yet.
Do you wanna get on the snow removal team?
All right, any questions for Seth?
Again, you gotta see, everybody that's been stepping up for snow plowing and stuff, I've got guys that have been coming in early, working 10, 12-hour days, hopping in the plow truck, Brad, myself, a couple of the other guys. Jeff is on call if we need him.
I just have to answer my phone at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It just keeps coming too.
I know.
Just when you get caught up on the other stuff, bam, another 6 inches.
I have not seen this much snow and I don't know how long.
How much did we get last night, yesterday?
I don't know, it was way worse than Bemidji though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We
heard
were
like,
I hit the county line and then, like, could actually see the road when I was coming back.
I heard that further west of here, they got
Yeah,
significantly more.
Too.
they got hammered, yeah, like I heard, yeah, we got lucky.
Okay, and that's a good segue right into the transportation guy.
I don't have a lot, I have a lot going on, but I don't have a lot, because I don't have a lot, no, I haven't had a lot of time to kind of get my stuff together, but, I'm also down to two drivers right now. One took a leave of absence and the other one is retired medically, because of medical reasons, so I'm down 2 drivers, which means I'm down 2 subs, so I'm kinda down to Dale and I right now at Lindenberg, so. And luckily Doyle James has taken a lot of these trips. I know we have ads out for a couple drivers right now. I don't know if we've gotten any applications in. I have no idea. But Seth and I got a few ideas. We're probably gonna try to figure out between the 2 of us to maybe entice somebody to possibly apply for, maybe
Split it up as a 4 and 4 full time. Or 4 bus, 4 custodial per day.
we haven't diced it all yet, but, yeah. So, and then I got, yeah. Luckily, there's been, I thought we were gonna have to last Wednesday, I thought we were gonna have to, combine a bus route, but we're not having to, so, because of COVID. Trip got canceled, so we kind of freaked out. And then the other thing I was gonna talk about is February 7th, every entry-level driver's training requirements start, which means anybody that's never had, doesn't already have a license has to go through this, training requirement, which is, you have to pick from like a registered training place, and I've kind of looked into it, and I think that, I've talked to Brent, he doesn't really know what's going on, because I was figuring between me, him and Rozo, Warren and Rozo, maybe we could get somebody that's certified to possibly train some of these drivers that's close, instead of having to drive somewhere. But nobody really is, it was just kind of waiting for something to happen, and that's not my thing, so I think I'm gonna look into see what I gotta do for myself to get registered as a entry-level driver's trainer myself, and then I can train these drivers for the classroom portion of it before they can do the skills test. I don't know exactly what it entails, I haven't got that far yet, but I tried to get many people to, I tried to say, hey, if we get it before February 7th, you basically don't have to take this college course, And I don't really know if it's like a college course, but I would imagine it's something like that. And nobody really, I can't drag them to the GMP, I can't. I had many people, yeah, send me an email. I bet you I sent 15 emails to some people that I talked to that think about maybe driving, and nobody just would really go in and do it. Now, pretty much, they have to take the test, have their permit for 2 weeks before they can take the actual over the road or the knowledge or the actual behind the bus. So now it's like I can't even, nobody can really apply now. So that was my one goal, is to get a few drivers before that February 7th date, but I don't see it happening unless somebody goes tomorrow and gets their permit, trains with me real quick, and goes and takes their bus test. So it's even if you have a Class A, let's say you've had a Class A for your whole life, and you want to come to that bus, you still have to take this entry level, because they're making it do it for school buses. even though you get, just to get the school bus, so basically if you're gonna up your license, you have to take this entry-level driver's training course requirement. And so I'll probably have some more info on it next work session on what I gotta do to become an entry-level driver's trainer, and I don't know if it's just one person should do it, or if you should get two people to do it, or I don't really know, I gotta look into it. I was a training instructor for the sheriff's office. I had to go to like a week and a half long, or week class down in the cities for a week and do some stuff. I don't know if it's something like that, and then I was, the state considered me a EVOC instructor, and a GP of operation instructor, so I don't know, I'm guessing it's something like that. It's like, I'll go to a training to become a, and I don't know, it could be like that, like a week long, or it could be like I gotta take a college course, I'm not really sure yet, so.
Is this the federal transportation thing?
Yeah,
with
it's
the
like
CDL?
US Department of Transportation, Federal Motor Carriers Safety Administration, so they hold it up. So basically what's going on is each state kind of has their own requirements, and now they're calling it kind of all under one umbrella. So no state's gonna be less than another or more than other states. They all have to abide by these federal motor carriers.
You have to be on their certified list to
Right.
provide the instruction, and,
Right.
but you can't find anywhere that says what you have to have in place to be on the list.
Started his own trucking company, and he said the biggest pain in his butt was this federal motor carriers stuff he had to jump through. He said it was ridiculous.
So,
Which is good, because then, you know, I've seen drivers that have CDLs, and you wonder why they have them. So I don't really, it doesn't really bother me, besides the fact that just another hoop to get a bus driver, which we can't get them now, and then you throw this in there, and, you know, a lot of our people that are getting to drive bus are, you know, retirement age, and they're like, oh, I gotta take a class, I gotta work on a computer, it's probably gonna be computer-based. And they're gonna be like, what? But if I can be the trainer and facilitate it here in-house, maybe, you know.
you can run it through community ed and
Yeah.
save some money there.
Oh, Sam's already hit me up several times. Drivers.
Regional provider, there you go.
I have looked into becoming a driver's ed instructor, and that's also a pain in the butt too. So I don't know if I wanna do all of it, so.
So you would be a trainer specifically for just bus drivers?
Well, I read up on it, and you have to be, I don't have a Class A driver's license, I never have, I always just had my Class B with a bus endorsement. So you, as a trainer, can only train to what you have. So if I was gonna be like a Class A trainer, then I'd have to go and get my own, I'd have to get a Class A, pass the test, but I can do up to what we need for equivalent of a bus driver. So, that's all I'll be able to train, that's all we need.
But you're saying now anybody who signs up, regardless of what they have, still have to take that one,
If you're gonna, yeah,
If you're going to be an instructor?
so like,
to be an instructor or to be a bus driver?
to be a bus driver, but you have to go to like it has to be registered through the federal motor carriers, you have to be registered as an instructor under them, and you have to have certain guidelines that you have to reach, and it's quite a bit different than before.
So like if Cody wanted to drive, he would have to do that, even though he already has
Right, because you're
a
upgrading.
bunch of different letters on his
Right.
driver's license.
That's what I'm saying, even you get an old truck driver that wants to come drive bus, he's got to go and take a
I was just
class.
making
He's
sure I
been driving
understood.
truck his
Yeah.
whole life,
Uh-huh.
He's getting a bus license.
When did you say that, February 7th?
Seven.
Yeah. So I'm kind of,
Been to
Before
You
then,
can-
we're right there, yeah.
you can maybe get it done, because like I said, you have to have your thing for 14 days before you can actually take over the road, so I'm getting down to like today or
Days.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
Call them up, have
Call
them,
'em
tell them to
up,
go to
I'll
the
ask
mission,
them.
take the
Not
test
looking
tonight.
good.
You don't only want to
So
be a
anyway,
sub though.
but if I can become an
Sorry.
instructor and I don't gotta send them down to wherever, you know, I'm sure some colleges like Northland College and, you know, probably Bemidji Tech College probably have a course all lined up, ready to go.
Well, I bet the instructor is gonna be ugly for
Yeah.
getting it. It's gonna be a course.
Yeah, it's federal, so they can make something wrong on anything, so. But, so I'm gonna look into it and we're kind of out of options unless we wanna, and who's really gonna want to come drive bus if we gotta tell them they gotta go to like Bemidji for a week straight or something. You know what I mean? I don't, so.
Throw in
Yay.
a Hawaiian cruise,
Yeah.
finish it.
Yeah, maybe. So, anyway, we'll get through it.
Bus drivers sign on bonuses.
And then I was looking on the internet for what a lot of people are doing to, it said, one of them said, maybe you don't need more bus drivers, maybe you need to cut your routes. I was like, I should look into that, and I'm like, we're full, so every bus, if every kid rides, so it's like, I looked at it just for COVID reasons. I thought, well, if I had to go down a bunch of drivers, how can I get everybody home? And I could combine one route and kind of sprinkle it on the other routes, and that's all I can do. Basically turn our 8 routes into 7 routes. So we already trimmed the fat so much that we can't anymore, so. But hopefully, it seems like we always think we're not gonna get somebody and we get surprised at a lot of other positions. Hopefully somebody will fly, but we'll see. If not, we got other options.
Well, we get Jeff and Tim and Robin.
I could bring Edda, I could put a car seat in there.
School board member, you
Yeah.
gotta be a substitute bus driver. is that
Right.
what you
I know they got the seatbelts, but
That would
I don't know if
not
they'll go
bad.
through a car seat, will they?
Greatest.
said? Hey,
I bet we can buckle in a car seat.
Yeah, just like whatever we
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
I've been strapping my 2-year-old in a car seat for about 2 weeks now.
In a bus?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah?
Oh, see, it
I
can
have
be done.
somebody else, and I've been driving
Me and
buses
Edda
every
are
day.
gonna start driving.
All right, you got it first person.
Carla, why don't you just drive? I mean, throw it your.
I don't know, I got nothing else going on in my life.
I gave you a take-home bus.
I could take home a bus.
I gave you a take-home bus, and,
No,
come
that'd
talk.
be dangerous in my yard.
All right.
Leave it alone.
All right, I don't really have anything else.
Well, we'll see if we can't find you some more bus drivers. I think that's the key. We need to find coaches, we need to find bus drivers. We got a math teacher.
And maintenance.
Yeah,
Custodian.
maintenance, we need that.
Snowplow driver.
And cooks still.
Another paro might not hurt either, so.
Yeah.
Since we're making a list.
Christmas is over, guys. Or find the right person with a lot of different talents.
There
right?
you go.
Cece, you wanna take the stage?
I don't know after this, I don't know.
What do you need up there?
Oh, well, we have Jackie and I have webinars every week with, Food Nutrition Service to, MDE. And they are preparing us to plan to return to normal for our food program next year. So, in fact, it's hard because they say we're returning, but USDA has to say that we are, and with everything going on, we're still not sure. But they really want to make sure that, we give all the schools enough time to go back to the normal. Which would mean we would return to the National School Lunch Program and our breakfast program, which means they are paid programs. And then go try to get our previous applications. And the only way a family's gonna get free meals is reducing what's this, they call it applications. Struggle, years before COVID to
So,
get the application. So, may or may not happen, but they want us to get prepared for it. So, we're gonna have to find and ingenious ways of trying to get people to fill out these applications.
so our compensatory revenue, which is driven by free and reduced, was 197,000?
This
No,
year it's 107.
107, and it's
Next year
normally,
it's down to 80,000.
and it's normally like
Around
300,000.
Because that's the number of,
Yep.
Free and reduced.
so
So,
the application that you send out, from what I recall, I mean, it's kind of thick, isn't it? I mean, is
Well,
that,
actually, that's
It is, but that includes a lot of your annual notices that are required to send out to, I mean, we can combine it
Yeah,
to make it for one mailing, that might be another idea, just do one. and
I don't
do
know,
two
is it
mailings.
overwhelming when they get this?
That could be
What's the documentation required?
none, they just fill it out, and the only, if you were to fill it out, you just fill out what the question asks for your monthly income and how many are in your family.
And-
And then I have to verify a certain percentage of how many applications are approved. They also have to be approved, you can't just fill it out and say, okay, they have to be
And
approved.
there's no way it could be like electronic, it doesn't have to be.
It
the-
is electronic.
It is electronic.
I've had-
Oh,
But
okay.
I only have 3 this year,
Electronic?
electronic.
But it's hard this year too, I think, because they know it's free, so
They
what's
know
the
it's
point of
free.
filling it
Yeah,
out?
well, exactly, I mean,
For 2 years now, they've known it's free. So that's why, but that's a good idea, maybe what we should do, maybe it's too overwhelming. And
put
then
it on the
just do-
website, post a
just
link on
do-
Facebook.
Well, no, when you send it, because we have to send it, it has to be mailed.
Oh, but, I mean, could you also,
Right, and on when I send it out, it states that there's online applications. And
Yeah.
then all the stuff you send out, F plus.
you have to mail it, but they don't have to
Right,
complete
it
it that way?
has to go to every family, not every family has online access.
So when is it anticipated that it will be known that it's,
We don't know. They could get like.
I'm just like, how much, like, yeah, like, do we start letting them know in April, or, you know?
They wanted to give a better notice than what they had the last 2 years, because 2 years ago, we did the summer food program, which is free. But then they this year went to a seamless, which we knew like 2 months before we were preparing for this, which is another good thing, is our seamless are gonna get higher reimbursements.
I just saw that, yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting high, they up good again. So we'll get high reimbursements, and we have our breakfast count is down, way down, but our lunch count, I think this is because we have Marion. No. But, so our counts are good for the reimbursements, but still the compensatory aid is, but I also think we should explain compensatory aid better. Because I'll put in there, it affects our compensatory aid, we put it in the Ed Plus credit. So maybe if we.
What federal programs it
You know
covers.
what compensatory aid is.
So the numbers are based on not just the applications put in, but the ones that are approved.
Yes.
The approved applications.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we
So
just
if I
don't know
send
if they're approved until they fill it out.
Right, you have to be. If I send out an application, I only get like 60 back and only 40 qualify. No, they're only 40 approved, so.
Is that something we could do at like Meet the Teacher Night?
We've
Have-
done that. We've put up a
have
sign and
teaching-
had
have you right
computers
at
and,
the-
yeah.
Right at the entrance.
But
Yep.
we can't.
Flag
but
people
see,
down.
Another thing is we can't overtly, say, okay, so that we can't say, fill this out, because we can't identify them, so I have to, okay, you have to fill out this application. Can't do that.
Can we have everyone fill it out?
No,
Okay. Or apply, or
right,
whatever.
no.
Why not?
Do everything.
Because it's like privacy issues.
It's a very big privacy, and if anybody, I'm actually the only one that knows who is approved, except we have to have one other person.
Well, I guess that's where I was going. I mean, if everybody applied, then there would be no stigma that, oh, this person
Like, how do we
qualified or
get
whatever.
everybody to apply?
Because she's saying
Yeah.
that she can't have you walk up to the table and fill it out right there, because then everybody would know that.
Well, I know,
That's your,
but I mean, that
that
would
you're
be
applying.
so, but
Yeah.
if we had everybody
If it
apply
was
and
everybody
everybody
there.
did it, then there would be
no one person.
Bribery?
So, well, I was gonna
What can
use
we
the word
offer? Is
incentive.
there
Raffle off a
anything?
turkey.
When I was at Lake Park Audubon, and so maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when they really wanted to get people across the board to just apply, their incentive was just for filling it out, you'd get like an adult pass to a game. It helped immensely, so if you think about what incentive would entice them just to fill out that sheet of paper.
CC, have you heard from any of the webinars, if they would use MA billing as a qualifier for
If they what?
MA billing?
Oh, no.
They haven't brought that up.
And that's another thing, you qualify if you are in a food program, SNAP, or federal reservation, or foster, or this. But if you're on MA, you don't qualify.
Oh.
And that's one of the big concerns that they talk about in ours is why doesn't an MA person qualify?
So other than the pot of money, just out of curiosity, does it change the food the kids get, or is it just?
Actually, Jackie's been really struggling, because it is a different, she's had to put in different waivers. Because the National School Lunch Program has specific, they have to have so much, and I don't understand the food, so that's a Jackie question. But they've kind of cut the requirements a little bit with the seamless summer. So I don't know.
But the
That's
compensatory revenue, no, does not affect the food, it's just the different programs.
Yeah,
Like, the compensatory revenue, it just runs through the general fund.
Well, that was the thing where it's like, okay, you guys fill this out, and if we get enough, you guys are gonna get better food.
No, we still have to follow the different programs.
No, and it's the same thing as a quantity, they have different measurements, their ladles are like half a cup, a fourth a cup, they're not just ladles. I mean, everything is, she's got a lot on her plate as far as, and now she's worried as we go into February, March, whether she's even worried about some of the foods that she can get. There's a shortage of that. Milk.
Just wait till the CDL thing works its way through.
But I also wanted to make sure, I know Jeff's mentioned it, Mary has to, but Jackie wanted to make sure that you saw that she wanted to thank the staff. She said they were absolutely phenomenal. It makes you feel good when you know you've got a workplace that comes together like that.
And they're still running short staff anyway, right? Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, because
all
wasn't there a
year
time
long,
when
big time kudos.
the three people that have been there a long time, they were all out, right?
There was
Like, a few days were like,
Yeah, right.
and maybe there's a new hire and she was there, but the experienced folks were all out, right? So.
Yeah, this last week, the new gal that she hired, had only been there a week. And she did really well.
Great.
It was so bad. They won't let me serve in there, but they actually had me help put the stuff off the truck into the freezer, so that's how bad
The
it
manual
was.
labor.
Yes,
yeah.
but
Didn't I see you making peanut butter sandwiches though too?
no,
Oh, that was.
no, just the groceries, and I was cutting those styrofoam things in half because we're running out of plates.
The sandwiches?
And I wanted to add to that, we're now 5,500 negative and past due, so we're getting there. Yes, but other than that.
Okay, well, thank you. Any other business on the working session that we want to talk about? Okay, well, let's adjourn the working session. Anybody want to take a break? Okay,
How long's the regular meeting gonna last? Thinking not long, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So, let's go.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order at 7:07. I need a motion in a second to approve the agenda as presented.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Johnson, Ellis. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Unanimously. I need a motion in a second to approve the consent agenda as presented, which includes the approval of the minutes, the approval of invoices, statements, and bank reconciliation, the approval of personnel, resignation, retirements, and appointments, including the resignation of Bertil Anundson, custodian, and Bruce Sindelier, assistant hockey coach, and appointments, including Barb Castle as an assistant cook, Nick Anderson as the varsity baseball coach, Dean Kraus as an assistant hockey coach, and Amy Hendrickson as a high school math teacher.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Sondergaard, second by Robita. Any discussion? those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Do we have any board presenters? Do we have any written communications? Letters of resignation, we don't need to read, I don't think.
No, they are in the, they
Yep,
were in the
packets.
packet.
We should thank Bertle for.
Yeah, I want to,
Yes.
if we're getting into that, I was thinking we were going to get the letters read, but you all saw those in the packet, obviously, and Bertle been here a long time.
22 years, I think it was.
And he's one of those guys, like you say, who always stuck his nose in where it needed to be, whether it was, hey, need the softball field figured out, or you need, some snow moved, right? I mean, so he'll be a tough replacement. And Bruce moving on, and excited about the other appointments, so. Thank you, Bertle. There are no more written communications. Old business, I need a motion and a second to approve the revised safe in-person learning program as presented by Superintendent Nelson.
Make the motion.
It's a motion by Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Sonstergaard. Discussion. I think we had it already in the working session, but hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. I need a motion and a second to approve the tiered level implementation of health and safety procedure at the high level.
Make the motion.
Motion by Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Sonstergaard again. I will entertain discussion.
That's just what
That's
there's
where
more
we've been.
spacing than just what we've kind of implemented.
Yeah, it's more of an alert that we're having higher positives, there's not a
And you
We were
changed some
high
of the
at the last
verbiage.
meeting.
change in the
Right.
verbiage.
The only difference being that there were some language changes.
Yep.
And
Yep.
we discussed that during the working session, but
Yep.
they're on the website if people wanted to see.
Yep, and it provides kind of a heads up, and there's still the option of masking and locking down the building if things tended to get worse, but I don't.
Right, and
I
our
don't see that.
athletics would coincide with the
Yep.
MSHSL stuff. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. New business. I need a motion and a second to approve the lease agreement with the Little Kids and Us daycare.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Robita,
Second.
second by Johnson. Discussion? It is our fourth daycare? Okay. The fact that there were two names on it, though, is still one daycare that's being opened up.
Yes.
They are
but-
working together in one room,
Yes.
but they get more kids.
I believe up to 13, but don't ask me the details on ages and stuff, so.
What's a single person get, 10?
It just depends on their qualifications.
Yeah, there's different licensing.
But I think they actually get closer to 15 or 16 kids,
Could be.
depending on the age. Like if they didn't take an infant, they could take an extra toddler.
Getting the impression that the providers like having it at the school. Because,
Mhm.
again, with how
Very
many
much
we've
so.
got now.
I think parents like it at the school too.
And I think the parents like it at the school. I think
One
it
of the
works
biggest
out.
thing that's helped that we've got from the daycare providers, what a safer spot to have it done. For insurance purposes and for inspection, really easy through the school.
So,
Yeah, and that's been quite an abrupt change. I mean, I know you were on the ground movement when that occurred here not too long ago, but I mean, now we've got 4 in the school.
Yep.
And I think the community's looking at it like that's their expectation, that we're daycare.
I mean, with kids that age, I mean, are we approaching where daycare's kind of covered, or are we still short daycare?
No.
We're short.
the infant one is still.
The
That's
infant
always a
one,
tricky one.
yes.
So we
And
haven't
There's more coming.
totally thrown out the center format, and that's still something that will be discussed, and
I think
Because-
that'd be great, yeah, to do that.
so. Next step would be to meet with our providers and social services and see what kind combination of whatever we could offer in the building and how we could staff it and what makes the most sense and serves the most families. But for now, this is the best option we have for getting something in the school and available sooner than later.
Okay, further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye to approve the lease.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Need a motion and a second to approve the reading of policies 102, equal educational opportunity, 406, public and private personnel data, and 413, harassment and violence.
Make the motion.
Motion
I'll
by Johnson,
second it.
second by Robita. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Need a motion and a second to approve and adopt policies 501, school weapons, 507, corporal punishment, 515, protection and privacy of pupil records, and 524, internet acceptable use and safety policy.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ellis,
Second.
second by Johnson. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Need a motion and a second to approve the DJ contract
Who's that?
with, and I need a name on that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to.
Entertainment.
For prom.
One less thing to
Yep.
worry about.
Who,
Okay, once again,
owns that?
entertainment.
With an N, not,
N-T-E-R-T-A-I-N. Entertainment. One less thing to worry about. The way they spell it, that makes me worry, but.
not
Is
for
that
prom,
like-
you said?
Yeah.
Pro group or a high school kid?
Well,
or-
I was asking who it was that actually runs it.
It's not a student, no.
Okay.
We've had them for like, I don't know, last 4 years or something.
This same one.
I believe it's the same group that
Oh,
they
okay.
shared with post-prom last year.
Okay,
I'll make the motion. I think
Yeah.
that's out there.
I'll second it.
second by Sonstagard. I think, yeah, Johnson and Sonstagard.
Oh,
Sure.
Carla,
Robita.
no,
Robita,
I was gonna,
me, second.
Carla.
I
was gonna say, sure.
Okay, so Johnson and Robita. I thought I heard Sonstagard. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Other business? Okay, adjourning at 7:17.
Yeah,
There, Harley put
Is that
some
what it-
stuff in here.
Yes.
Other stuff, yeah.
75? It is, okay.
Okay.
That's what we thought, and we voted on that the first meeting.
Hey, getting angry right now.
Yeah, I'm getting that kind of irritated.
Okay, so these are old ones, so you were still